Here, a day of reflection marking 5 years since the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. It's been a day of reflection and remembrance, with events taking place right across the UK marking 5 years since the start of the COVID pandemic. More than 200,000 people here have died since 2020, with more than 7 million deaths worldwide. Hundreds of thousands of people are still suffering the effects of long COVID, leading to a big rise in the numbers of people claiming sickness benefit. Here's Simon Jones.
A procession of the bereaved. Families walk the length of the National COVID Memorial Wall in London. There's reflection, there's sadness, and there's anger at the way the pandemic was handled.
We lost both my mother in November 2020 and my brother 19 days later in December 2020 to COVID. It was an indescribably painful time. It feels like an open wound. There's grief, a different grief that is always with us, that we carry.
My mother died within 5 days. She was buried in a bag because the undertakers weren't allowed to touch her. She was just left in a bag and put in a coffin.
There are more than 200,000 hearts on this memorial wall alongside the River Thames, representing more than 200,000 people who have died in the UK, with COVID-19 listed as one of the causes on their death certificate. The pandemic saw lockdowns, deserted streets, medical staff pushed to their limits. Surveys by the Office for National Statistics suggest people's experiences of poor health and loneliness have not improved over the past 5 years.
As a nation, we are traumatised, and the effects of such are still apparent today.
I changed who I was to put you by. In Glasgow, music for reflection. In Belfast, an event marking the vital role played by medical staff who were on the front line in the battle against the virus. And on Bulk Mountain in South Wales, a memorial specially restored. In London, flowers to say farewell to loved ones, but the effects of COVID continue to be felt. Recent research suggested long COVID symptoms were adversely affecting day-to-day activities of 1.5 million people. The health think tank The King's Fund says the pandemic has left a legacy.
We were hit harder than many countries around the world, and our waiting times, the waiting list is really only just peaking now. So we've got 7.6 million on the waiting list. So we're still recovering from it. It's a long haul, and it's worse than many other countries around the world.
One key reflection from people here: lessons must be learned. Simon Jones, BBC News.
In Canada, there's a nervous wait to see who'll succeed Justin Trudeau as leader of the Liberal Party and become Prime Minister.